Perry, Keith, our Vice President, and I'm skipping the President. Thank you for having us, and I wanted to thank you guys for your $1,000 donation. That money goes a long way to help a lot of riders, or a lot of people in Arizona. Also wanted to present you guys with a certificate. It says, Certificate of Appreciation presented to American Legion Riders Post 27 for your generous donation. Thank you for making the world of difference in our survivors' lives. I see some new faces here, so if all of you don't know what we do, we help injured motorcycle riders in Arizona. All riders that have been riding lawfully and have an endorsement. We pay people's rent, electric bills, car payments, whatever we can do to help them at that situation. This year, since January to this date, we have paid over $33,000 worth of people's bills. And that's all made possible by your guys' support and all the other riders too. Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce a couple survivors that we helped. They want to come up and give a live testimony. Carol and Kurt.
You have to hold it real close.
Okay. Get it real close. Yeah. Okay, so thanks for having us here tonight. Okay, a bit closer, got it. Okay, so my husband Kurt is the survivor, and he won't remember anything about it because of the injuries that he sustained. So I'll be speaking for him about the situation that we had and about what it meant to us to have the help that we received from Down and Dirty. So on March 18th, 2020, Kirk had lost his job just a few months before in IT and was looking for something, couldn't find it. So a friend said, hey, if you don't mind doing manual labor, you can work for my construction company. Kirk said, yeah, that'd be great. So on day 2, he left the house around 7 a.m. and it was pouring rain that day, just pouring. And I begged him, let me drive you. He said, no, it's not very far and we need to save our money. I'm just gonna ride my bike. So he took off, and about 2 hours later, I got a call from the wife of the man that hired him. And she said, you know, we don't know Kirk all that well, but he seems like the kind of guy that would show up at the time he's supposed to. And I said, are you telling me he's not there? And she said, no, he never showed up today. I said, I'm gonna have to call you back. This is not good. I hung up the phone, called my husband, no answer. And then as I hung up the phone again, it rang again, and it was a police officer telling me that he had been taken to the hospital. This happened to be March 18th, 2020, the very first day of the hospital shutdowns. If you can remember what that was like. I walked in to the main entrance, and they said he was in the ER. I went over to the ER. They said, you need to go back to the entrance and do a screening. I went back, did the screening that we've all done a zillion times since. Went back to the ER. It was absolutely loaded with people coughing, and they said to me, you can't stay here. You have to leave. And I said, I need to see my husband. He was in a motorcycle accident. They said, that's impossible. I said, can you send out someone who can tell me the status? No. Just go home. We'll call you when you can. So around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, accident happened at 7. I got a call from the hospital explaining that he had multiple brain bleeds from the accident. The officer had told me there was evidence he was wearing his helmet. And I said, well, my husband always wears a helmet, so what do you mean by evidence? And he said, I can't tell you that, but you should talk to the medical personnel. Well, because it was COVID, I never once got to speak with a doctor. A nurse would give me updates once in a great while. And so after 6 days in ICU, I went down to pick him up, and they said that the doctor was in a fight with the business office, didn't want him to be released to home. The business office did want him to be released to home. So they sent me home, and the next day I went back to get him. In the meantime, I had put something on Facebook about our situation and just asked my friends and family to pray for my husband and for our situation. And it wasn't too long before I got a phone call from one of the board members of Down and Dirty, who explained to me what the organization is about, asked me a series of questions to vet the situation, and then told me that someone would be calling for an interview. So another board member called me. They asked me more questions and asked me to also supply the police report and evidence of what had happened. And so after thoroughly vetting the situation, it didn't take long at all before they called me and said, send me your top 3 bills. And then they just paid those for several months. It was a huge relief to us because Kurt was unable to work for quite some time and hadn't been working prior to this. And then, it was just, the way that I describe it is, when something traumatic like that happens, people often say, let me know what I can do, You're never gonna call someone and say, can you pay my bills? So having someone that not only reached out to ask how I was, how we were, and who knew his love for biking, his situation, and actually take action and provide help, it was so greatly appreciated and really something. Just to tell you the rest of the story, it was a few months later, he got a job back in IT, and for about 6 months was doing pretty well. He had a lot of long-term memory, so he was remembering a lot of his IT work. But we were both working remotely from home. I kept hearing him get yelled at all the time, and I thought, this is just weird. This is not Kirk. He doesn't get in trouble. So I walked into his office, could hear his boss saying, you just never remember anything I tell you. And so we ended up eventually going in and having a full review of how he was doing. And he's been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, but he has such a positive attitude about life, and he is always, full of joy in spite of what he's facing. And so I just wanted to share that with you and let you know that Down and Dirty is worthy of support, and I appreciate that you all provide that support and that it makes its way to people like us when we're in some of the worst times you ever experience in life. So thank you.
All right, I'll make it real quick because I just wanted to talk about our raffle that we got going on. You all know Smartass. He donated his motorcycle cargo trailer to Down and Dirty before he died of cancer. And we are raffling it off for $10 a ticket. And we're going to draw on February 17th, our signature ride that is leaving out of Desert Wind. There'll be more information about that coming up on Facebook. One more thing, we added you guys to our sponsorship banner. This is for businesses that I'm trying to get give us monetary donations. And we added you guys down here. This is a $1,000 donation sponsorship. You guys are also on our website. Which brings me to our next thing of promoting my website. I've done a lot of changes on our website lately, and I've left a bunch of cards on the table with our website. I'd love it if you guys would look us up, please, and check out the inspiration of why we started Down and Dirty, and there's more survivor testimonies on there too. Thank you.